wash our hands. Let's get out our pretend soap.
I have to poop right now. To the potty.
No.
Wow! You're going to be learning to use the potty? Did you see that?
Oh!
Thank you, sweetie.
I see it.
You've been learning so much about using the potty.
Hello everyone! Happy Monday! So papunta kami ngayon sa store dahil marami nga kaming naiwan na nakalimutan na bilhin kahapon. And it's currently 3:21 PM. And dumating na rin itong pinakahihintay na letter ng aking mister. Ito yung decision about dun sa hinihingi niyang parental rights for her first daughter. Si Rochelle, for his first daughter. Sensya na kayo sa aking mga pronouns. Nagkakamali-mali lagi. Ito, galing sa Court of Probate, Northeast Regional Children's Probate Court. Love, are you excited?
I don't know.
I think you're nervous. Parang kinakabahan si Mr. Tingnan natin ang kanilang desisyon. Gonna be this. In the matter of the name of his daughter, petitioner Richard Robert Rose, alleged genetic parent Richard Robert Rose, on the petition for an adjudication of parentage concerning the child as of records appears. Presiding judge, the court finds that notice of hearing was given in accordance with the order of notice previously entered. The birth parent or the child resides in this probate district at the time the petition was filed, and jurisdiction pertains to this court. The date and place of birth of the child. This is so loud. I have to read all of this.
I don't know. Just find the important part.
The date and place of birth of the child are as above written. An affidavit has been filed in court averring that there is no proceeding in another court in Connecticut or any other state affecting the custody of the child.
Crap.
Love, I'm just trying to give you a lot of suspense. The court further finds that the court had sworn testimony providing by clear and convincing evidence that the petitioner was not identified on the child's birth certificate. Sworn testimony by the birth parent mother proved that the petitioner was present at the hospital on or about when the minor child was born but refused to sign the required paperwork.
I told them it was not a refusal. I were told it was an arrangement. We had an arrangement. I said it 6 freaking times. What the hell, you know?
Wait lang. Where am I? But refused to sign the required paperwork for having his name listed as the child's father. The actions of the petitioner at the time of the child's birth caused reasonable doubt as to the validity of the petitioner's claim to be the father of the minor child. In addition, the respondent mother testified that she and the petitioner both executed a typewritten document entitled Recipient and Donor Agreement dated 6/29/15. The respondent testified that she prepared the document basing it on documents she had utilized in Oregon, where she had previously resided. The respondent testified that for a period of time, she was a recipient in a sperm donation service and she was required to execute a document similar to this document as were the sperm donors. While neither the petitioner nor the respondent are attorneys, the credible testimony of the respondent gives the document significant weight since it was similar to or the same as documents she had used at the clinic. Both parties admitted signing this document. So ayun na guys, tapos na kaming mamili dito sa Big Y kasi konti lang naman yung binili namin, mga vegetables lang. Anyway, yung ruling nung court, medyo sad siya. Ang sabi dito is, kaya hindi ko na tinuloy yung pagbasa kanina. The alleged genetic parent has failed to prove by clear and convincing evidence that he is the child's genetic parent for the reasons stated herein. So, ayun. Love, what's your can you say about that?
She admitted that I was the genetic parent. The point was to figure out if I was the parent. And we were there, everyone said, he's obviously the parent. Even Mika said, yes, he is the genetic father. We're just trying to figure out, is he the genetic father? She says he is the genetic father. He is the genetic father. And then they say, we decided because she says you didn't give her any money and you didn't tell us that you were going to give her any money, that you're not the genetic father. And also because you had an agreement that you would be a sperm donor, that you're also not the genetic father. Even though that agreement was reneged on. We lived together for 5 years or more. On and off for 5 years. And the thing that they were saying in court was like, well, you stopped taking money after 4 months. It took like 18 months to make the pregnancy, because there was 2 pregnancies. So I took money for 4 months, and then 18 months later I was still making babies. And then they said no, or they said because you're just a donor or whatever. Even when we were there, they said you weren't taking the money, so that contract doesn't really mean anything. And also you hung around for, I don't know, everybody told me that contract wouldn't mean anything, but I guess they looked at it and they're like, well, he signed a contract that said, but it was obviously, the contract did not match reality. But I guess that's what happened, is because that contract existed, that it was good enough, even though it doesn't really match what happened at all. It's totally different than what actually happened. I guess, because the contract exists, and contract exists. So I guess that's what happened. He went by what was in the contract, even though when we were there discussing it, the lawyer and the guy, everyone said, well, we weren't taking money, the contract was over as soon as you stopped taking the money, because the agreement was that you get $100 every month, and after 4 months you're not getting $100 every month, so the contract is finished, because the baby happened, a pregnancy, and a year later there was a failed pregnancy in between. So the whole, I don't know, but I guess I'm not going to pursue it, because now that I think about it, it is because that contract exists. And if they're going to go off of that contract, and they're going to say it was, well, no, I'm going to appeal it. I'm just going to appeal it because I have to appeal it. If I don't appeal it, then that's like giving up. So I can't give up, because that's not the right thing to do. But I see now that they were going by because the contract exists, even though everyone was in agreement that the contract was not saying they're not even talking about the contract. The contract would have, been at least somewhat logical reason for this, but the reason they were saying is because I didn't give her any money, and I didn't offer to give her any money when we were there in court, not discussing it at all. The only thing we were supposed to be figuring out is he the biological parent or is he not the biological parent?
Yeah, but generally speaking, if you were able to establish that you are the biological father, he is really willing to give a financial support or child support for
it's implicit.
his daughter.
It's implied.
Yeah.
It goes without saying. There's not even any reason to mention it because it's in the first document that I submitted. That they're like, you're going to be held financially responsible, and you sign it, and you're like, sure, whatever, let's go. So it's not even like we didn't discuss it. I had already stated by filling out that paperwork that I was going to give them money.
Well, anyway, i-appeal naman niya and hopefully is maging favor na sa kanya because siya naman talaga yung tatay. Yun, medyo masama siyang balita for him. Pero ayun, itatry naman niyang i-appeal. And tingnan natin kung ano yung mangyayari. So, nakauwi na kami guys. Ayan si Mister at ang kanyang ribs. Nag-crave siya ng ribs. Ang laki. Isn't this too big?
Probably. I don't know.
How are we
It's only
gonna...
$10. They're cheap because nobody knows how to cook them.
$10?
Yeah.
How are we going to finish all of this?
I'll finish.
Ayan. Magre-ribs na lang siya. Malungkot yan pero hindi lang niya pinapahalata. What seasoning did you put here?
Pork seasoning.
That's it?
Yeah.
No other seasoning? Like, are you not gonna put pepper?
It goes on after, or else it's just gonna burn.
So, ayan. How many hours are you gonna cook this?
3 hours.
3 hours. So, ang tagal pala niyang iluto. What's that?
It's oil.
Olive oil or just the regular?
It's olive oil.
Oh.
This is to keep the moisture contained inside. When you're roasting meat, you have to baste it or else the moisture leaves. Or you gotta cover it up, but then it traps the steam too much and then it doesn't roast. So a lot of people will wrap it up in foil, but then it just becomes steamed. You're just steaming it. So the better option is to use oil to actually roast the flesh instead of steaming the meat. Is that fun? Do you want to spin?
Is that fun? Open, the baby wants to be here. So, ito, nakahanap kami ng okra. Kasi sa Walmart, laging walang okra. Pero dito sa Big Y, may okra. Kaya lang parang hindi siya ganun kaganda. This one. So, how are you gonna cook this, love?
Same way I always cook.
How do you cook it?
I sliced it up and heat it up with soy sauce and stir it around.
Yeah, miss na miss ko na ang okra. Ang tagal ko na. When was the last time that we ate okra?
Last
year
when it
na.
was growing. But look, they're all gross.
Parang hindi siya masyadong maganda, pero pwede nang pagtiyagaan.
Okra has a very short shelf life. Look, this one's gross too. We're not using that one. Most of
Yeah, they're
these
all
are-
the same. There's not a lot of options there.